Hey folks, it's Greg and Janet with Strange RV Tours. Today we're in Tyler, Texas, and we're at Camp Ford, a Civil War POW camp. There's a lot of mysteries surrounding this place, a lot of really interesting stories, and the place may be haunted.
There's a lot of history here. Started in 1863 is when this was built. And it was built with slave labor, you guys. And ran until 1865. There's a lot of information here. Battles where a bunch of the prisoners were taken. It got really busy after the Mansfield battle. But this talks about the African Americans at Camp Ford. And they used black slaves in order to build this place. There were northern black troops that were captured. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and pause this to read this information. There's a lot of controversy about having white officers running the black troops, that type of issues. The transfer of prisoners, they give like one officer for one officer, two privates for one sergeant. You know, they were doing that type of thing. But they, in 1864, they had over 5,000 prisoners here. And this is the biggest camp west of the Mississippi at that time. And there are some pretty scary stories about this place. And some big rumors, controversy. Of course, they're not going to tell the whole story. You're not going to get the whole thing, or it's going to be blown out of proportion. But there's a nice little trail here. We're going to take a walk and take a look. And I'm going to tell you more about the supposed hauntings and what I found online and what I found on Wikipedia and stuff. And we're going to take a walk. And I wonder if we're going to actually sense anything unusual or see anything unusual. But it's changed over the years. There weren't any trees here, so the environment itself is totally different. So it is a historical site. And here's a bunch of businesses and people involved. And they did have a spring that went through here that did provide water. That's partially probably why they did set up here. Bleak was a lieutenant colonel in the 20th Iowa, captured in 1863. And he had the prime location closest to the spring, apparently. Diagram of the camp. That's pretty cool. But of course, officers would have the nicest facilities, even as prisoners. See, yeah, they used slaves to build like everything here. They didn't have that many guards, and some of the guards were actually in favor of the North. This looks like it could have been a foundation back then. It looks old enough, really does. That is probably original. Looks like it could be. That's neat. Okay, let's get on with some of the down and dirty. All right. There were some merchants that were from the north that were rumored to have some matches they gave to some people in order to burn some buildings. There's a couple stores and a few other places that caught on fire in Tyler. And they found a couple merchants that might have been involved, so they were imprisoned, and along with some black people in the area. Families, white and black, were accused of actually starting these fires and being conspirators to overthrow the South. So they started torturing and killing these people. Okay, one of the merchants was supposedly lynched here. The other got away. Along with, let's see, it's like 27 supposed white and black people, men, were lynched here. So that alone would cause me to think their spirits might still reside here. But this is all speculated. It's not, I'm not sure if it's actually true. It's rumored that because they were northern type adversaries or friends of the North, or rumored to, I mean, they started accusing people of different things, which is very sad, because I mean, it was a tough time, you know. I mean, the South was losing, I guess, and they had more prisoners than the North ever did. But it seems to be that they got worried about conspirators, people favoring the North, and if they even started making up stuff just to get rid of these people they thought were friends of the North. So even families, they were torturing and terrifying families, black and white, in the area. But some of the northern black soldiers were killed, along with some white, but quite a bit of the black. Anybody they thought favored the northern Union troops, they made up something to accuse them of treason or arson or whatever they could do to make an excuse to imprison them, torture them, and kill them. And that's terrifying. But this is really gorgeous here. Let me see. Let's see what this has to say. What's this one say, baby?
Camp itself was enlarged to quadruple its size.
Because of the Mansfield, huh?
Yes.
That,
yes.
Yeah, that did.
And they had a 16-foot wall. They cut the top, basically 10 feet of the wall off to use as posts when they quadrupled the size. So it wasn't that difficult to climb over the wall to escape, but there was nothing around here. So the prisoners were mostly recaptured right away and brought back to the camp.
Wow.
And it was slave labor that enlarged the camp.
Of course. Of course. Well, do you have any odd feelings or anything?
No, in fact, it's kind of unusual because so far I've thought to myself, other than the road traffic, it's really a pleasant place.
Yeah.
It's really nice, but you know, there is a dark history here.
Yeah. You know, it gets me, they started burning people at the stake, supposedly. Okay, all this Some of this is written down in an article in Wikipedia, okay? So, who knows if it's true. I'm sure things can get blown out of proportion, but they said there are some pretty brutal things that happened here at this camp. And it's witnessed by the prisoners themselves. And one article from the 49th Ohio, there's an article written by a guy from there, and it was horrendous. It's horrendous.
In March of 1864, while they were enlarging this encampment, they discovered a tunnel that had been dug by some of the prisoners that was over 100 feet long. This is the northern direction here. During the process of enlarging the encampment, when they made it 4 times its size, the stockade would have been built out in this area. And that's how they discovered the tunnel. Was the stockade was actually past where the tunnel was dug to. But the tunnel was supposedly wide enough where 2 men kneeling could walk side by side, but it was never used. They were waiting for the cover of darkness to use it, and it was discovered before anybody could actually use it during the expansion of the encampment. It's amazing to me that at that time period there was no trees here. Look at the size of these trees now. And this place is such a fertile area. It's hard to imagine this is just a big open field, a prairie. The primary food that was given to the prisoners here was beef and cornmeal. And beef was not plentiful here in this area. In fact, there's stories that prisoners had said that the cattle was so weak that 2 prisoners could walk up and grab the cattle by the horn and commence slaughtering the cow right there. They said they were so weak they could hardly walk. And the cornmeal, the prisoners said, was horrible cornmeal, that it had corn stalks and everything ground into it. So it was not a pleasant place to live.
So they had a little hospital also, apparently, for the prisoners, and the healthy prisoners got to take care of the sick prisoners. But not like there's all kinds of medicine back then. Looks like there's a bridge washed out over there, but I want to take a look anyway. Let's go over here. Yes, this is where the spring was. There we go. Yeah, I'm sure it gets plenty of water through here when it does rain. Wow. I'm gonna take a look at that washed out area. Ooh, I hear something moving. Maybe it's a ghost. Yeah, I wonder what they did with the bodies after lynchings and stuff. Did they get a real burial, you think? Did they get a real burial, or did they hide the facts? Oh my gosh, look. That goes down a good 15 feet at least. Whoa. There's still water through there too. Wow. Trail closed. Man. Ooh, I almost fell anyway. Tripped over a vine. Whoa. Man alive. Look at that, goes way deep down there. So it runs way underneath there. How cool is that? Okay, pretty cool. Pretty cool. They make their own little huts. Little cabins, huh? Wow. This canvas on top. Of course these are replicas, but be a place to stay out of the weather, I guess. Yeah, keep the wind and the rain away as much as the snow. It does snow here, you guys. Wow. There's some spiders. Yeah, there's some spiders there. I'm not going in. Oh, that's a neat tree. Wow. The middle of it's out. This one's just about gone. I wonder how long these been here anyway, because they've been here a long time. It's obvious. Yeah, these little cabins, the prisoners could build their own, but there was not the timber here back then. This was 1863, 64, and 65. These trees weren't here. They were allowed to go out and get their own timber, but apparently they didn't have the equipment, and they had to share the equipment, so they had to wait their turns to get to use anything like axe. There was like one axe, and so they had to wait their turn in order to get the supplies to build something worthwhile. Otherwise they just dug into the side of the dirt and put like canvas over the top until then, you know. So, and I'm sure the officers got theirs first, you know that. But as far as supposedly there was the deaths and all the lynchings and all that, yeah, I don't feel it really that bad here. And they said the mortality rate was only like 6% because they had a water system through here. You know, they had 3 pools, one for utensils and cooking and, you know, that type of thing. And then they had one for clothing and then one for bathing. And that's why they didn't have a high death rate as far as illness and sickness and that type of thing. But it is gorgeous out here. It's, you know, the Civil War was pretty brutal. It was bad. And hopefully we never have anything like that happen in the United States again. But sad to lose life, period.
Strange RV tours will take you places with Greg and Janet's smiling faces. You might see a crazy flavored soda review or some tips to fit your RV too. So come along, won't you join us, friend, as we discover what's around the bend. Just sit right back in your easy chair. Strange RV Tours is on the air. Strange RV Tours is on